Ready? Hey, MOSHAPE members! Welcome to the 1-year anniversary with our special guests, social media gurus, Guy Danhoff and Chris Stehle, with my SealTeamFAM, Anna Forcelledo, Kyle Salvo, myself, and we are missing Terry Gardner. So, welcome SealTeamFAM. When a teacher writes on the chalkboard of life, it can never be erased. So, here is our Chalk Your Walk campaign, 1-year anniversary.
So, Kristi, let's kick this thing off. It's 1 year. We've had a chance to look back on it. And I think a big question a lot of us want to know is, how did this all begin? I mean, to be honest with you, a year ago, we got the stay-at-home order. And what was going on with you and certainly with Anna and Kyle and your team?
Well, first off, some of my teammates at my school, we're just down in the dumps. And then I was like looking for things that I could do to maybe help cheer people up. And I came across this photo on Pinterest, and it kind of talked about Chalk Your Walk. So I kind of reached out to Anna first, and I was like, kind of have this crazy idea. I think we need to get Kyle involved. So we also called Kyle and said, here's what we're thinking. What do you think? And then, voila, we're off.
And what was fun about that was he just sent me the image, and I was like, yes, done. Let's do it. It was such an immediate, I think it just ignited a spark in us right away that we knew that this was something that would be super fun to do. And Kyle was right on board with it as well. And then, Guy, we took it to you after that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say, probably the day before Kristi and Anna contacted me, I started noticing in my own neighborhood that because everybody was supposed to stay at home and keep socially distant, everybody was taking a lot more walks with their families. So I had never seen, up until last March, I had never seen so many people out in our neighborhoods just walking, just getting out of their house. They were walking with their families, and I'd never seen these families do that so much in our neighborhood. So it kind of all fell together right then with those first 2 days of our stay-at-home order.
So with that, what was really challenging when this was presented to me, I thought the concept was fantastic. However, Chris and I were talking, and we're like, how are we going to pull off the marketing? How are we going to get the word out? And Kristi, Kyle, and Anna, with your ingenuity, you came up with this crazy idea that we're going to go right on sidewalks and create it. And who knew your artwork would be so good, including Chris's, that everyone was chalking up the driveways. Kyle, you were out there at night with your kids, and it just was really crazy. And I was wondering, Kristi, if you could speak to that a little bit, because when we had that, Chris and I could do work our mojo on our side, because we knew then we could do the promotion piece. But that was a little tricky at first.
So, I'm not going to lie. Back in my high school days, I was the art club president. So I do have a little drawing ability behind myself. So getting my own child also involved and doing things with her outside. So we actually chalked every driveway in our subdivision. So that was over 22 driveways. And we put 2 or 3 different drawings on each driveway. And we had so many people, like Kyle said earlier, that are just out walking the neighborhoods just to get out of their house for a break, get some fresh air, and taking pictures. It made our local paper of what was going on just right here. And when you see it all on social media as well, how it took off like wildfire, it just gives me goosebumps, because we were bringing actual smiles to everyone's faces.
Absolutely. And Chris, why don't you speak a little bit too? Because I know you were helping out right away with also the promotion by chalking up some areas that you were going to.
Yeah, guys. So we talked about, it was kind of like, how are we going to get this promoted? And I think, Kristi, Anna, and Kyle, the reason why it was so easy for us to get out is because they led by example. They didn't just create this event and just, say, hey, people do it. And then, I say, hey, why don't I join in? And I live in a very small rural town in Knobnoster, Missouri, where a lot of driveways are gravel. And another friend of mine lives in Knobnoster, and he's a physical education teacher as well. And we kind of talked of what can we do to help promote this and also share this idea with our small town. And so we got the idea of, let's go to the local businesses and, the police station, the fire station, where those essential workers are still working. And then we visited, for instance, my mother-in-law's driveway. She's a nurse, so she's an essential worker. My mom works at a Walmart, and so she was still working as trying to help out with that stuff. So we just said, let's find a way to still do this Chalk Your Walk and lead by example. I think that's why it was very successful, because we had not only our Health Moves Minds team doing this, but we had board members all across our board participating in this. And I think that's why promoting it was so easy for us.
It was. And then Anna, walk us through what was the game plan? What was our instruction to getting everyone involved? Because this was also slightly tricky, but we led by example. So walk us through that game plan.
Oh gosh, thanks Guy for that one. So this is kind of how we ended up getting our name, SealTeamFAM. Was the rate and speed and intensity at which this happened. We gave this up, I believe, on a Thursday, and we had turned around and had a meeting on a Friday with each other. Sent it to you guys. Told you about the game plan, about Chalk Your Walk, and what we felt was called to respond to do. And your exact words were, "You want to do what? You want to do what within 72 hours? 72 hours, you realize that that's what you want to do?" And I think you may have called me crazy a little bit, but that's all right. I'll take it because it was fast and furious. But I was like, no, we got this. No big deal. And we set the game plan. We were going to chalk our walk inside. We're going to do our sidewalk chalk in order to create the promotions ourselves, because it was simple. And then we were also, each of us were going to create a video component to introduce ourselves as part of our Health Moves Minds team, and then to also promote what was going to be happening for those 2 days and how to get outside and just spread kindness. And it was really powerful just to see what happens with one simple act of kindness, and it all just comes together. And it's simple and it's fun, and it didn't require anybody to do anything. And I think one reason as well is that everyone was at home and no one had anything to do because we couldn't do anything. So our world just stopped, and we were wanting to connect. We were wanting to do something and be creative and just connect with other people, and knowing that we weren't all in, that we wanted to know that we were all in this together. So we created hashtags. Each of us had our own hashtag to go with, and 6 hashtags was probably too many at that point, which I think we've all figured out unless you're on Instagram. But it was just really fun.
So what was memorable to me talking about the videos, Kyle, we're gonna play some of these videos tomorrow, which will be Thursday on Throwback Thursday. So stay tuned for that, MOSHAPE, because Kyle's video is one of the classics of classics. Kyle, briefly describe this thing you had on your head and what you were doing.
That head. So I wanted to get out there and do it, but I didn't. I wanted it to kind of be a surprise for when families woke up the next day, or if those essential workers had to get up there. And to be quite honest, drawing the artwork under the cover of darkness made my artwork look better, because I'm not the best artist in the world, but it did look pretty good that night, I will say. But yeah, so just grabbed a headlamp, grabbed some of my daughter's sidewalk chalk, and went out there and got to work. I probably did 3 or 4 houses that night. And then the next day, my children and I went out and covered a couple more houses, did a couple of workouts on the sidewalk so that families, as they were walking, they could do a couple of workouts on their way around the block. So it was fun. It really was fun. And it gave my kids something to do instead of sitting in the house the whole time. And it was really fun.
Yeah. So speaking again to this timeline piece, I have to bring this up because I know that I came to the team and said, as I'm looking at this, what if we got Jamie Sparks involved? and I can't, Anna, what was the exact time? Because you remember it, I don't, but it was like 9:37 or something.
9:41.
9:41.
Granted, it's 10:41 Kentucky time.
Yeah, Eastern time. And all we wanted him to do was just mention it on his next day because he was going to do his pedal pep talk. And all we wanted him to do was just to talk about it. But instead, what does he do? He puts that beautiful artwork that Kristi created as his backdrop as he's talking to the board members of Shape America. Now, he wasn't asking in an official capacity to support this. He was just saying, as people, this is something that's going on in Missouri, and he basically was our advocate and mentioned it during his pedal pep talk. And the next thing you know, we started at 4 states for about the first 4 hours when we launched on that and on the first day. And Kristi, what did you see happen after that? Because all of a sudden there was kind of an explosion.
You're right. There was a huge explosion, and on that second day, when I still look at that map and I just get goosebumps. It's just amazing how it just like spread like wildfire. And people that obviously had snow on the ground out shoveling their driveways and writing positive messages. If it was raining, they were putting a message on their chalkboard that they have in their house, or they wrote on their windows so people could see outside with the window marker. So it was really neat to get to see all that.
Yeah, so just to recap this, because I know Jamie and I were working in tandem as he was handling the national scene, I was handling our state scene. But as you see there, the blue is actually all the states that participated. That actually, the math comes out to 44 states. And if you look at the far right, you see 3 flags there, and that's international. And we had 3 other countries also participate. And Anna, one of them was actually your friend from Australia, I believe. Talk a little bit about that story, because that was pretty cool as soon as we saw Australia posting.
It was one of my good friends, Net, and I messaged her on Facebook and I said, hey, we're doing this thing called ChalkYourWalk. We're trying to spread this and spread positivity and kindness as much as we can and see what our reach can be. Would you mind? Creating an image outside? And so what's interesting is that she couldn't do that on the sidewalk outside in public because she would have gotten in trouble. So she went on her back patio and it was covered. And so she chalked her walk on her back patio instead of going outside on the sidewalk so that she wouldn't get in trouble by the police because they weren't allowed to do that on their streets.
That's pretty amazing story. And what I'd like to do now is let's take a shift to the big question of the night. And that is, let's talk about the significance and impact. Obviously, we just read the impact of the 44 states, of the 3 countries. But now here it is a year later, kind of like, let's reflect back and think about, what do we take away from this a year later? And, Kyle, I'll go around and call each of you to answer this. But Kyle, we'll start with you. As you look back on a year on this, what kind of is the significance and impact for you?
Really, it kind of directed MOSHAPE on how to be a leader, not just in the state of Missouri, but a leader nationwide. That kind of Chalk Your Walk kind of solidified us being at the forefront of making these kind of life-altering choices and bringing everybody together with the Health Moves Minds program, spread kindness, not COVID, and especially with what the situation that our country was currently in, so bringing everybody together, that really is the significance for me, is how well we work together, how quickly we were able to get it done, and just how quickly it spread to 4 corners of the earth.
Absolutely. And Chris, let's bring you in now. And granted, you have a little different spin maybe because we were on the marketing side, the promotion side, certainly when the event was going on for those 48 hours. I know you have a classic story. I always love hearing about your phone, but talk to us a little bit about that significance and impact for you.
Yeah. So personally, how it impacted me before I get to the professional level is it was great. Like, so Kyle's his example of what he did, it was really cool because as physical educators and health educators, we're taught to teach the whole child. So Kyle, with his chalk, for instance, not only was it focused on the mental and emotional health, but he also gave some exercises for people to do, which has to do with their physical health. So seeing that and just people all over doing this just showed me there are so many quality, not even just teachers, but individuals out, not only in the United States, but in the world as we reach 3 other countries. From a professional level with MOSHAPE, I actually joined the board in November of 2019, and this happened actually on my birthday in 2020. And one of my goals with marketing and communications with MOSHAPE is just to make it bigger, provide more for our members. And this event kind of springboarded into where we are now. And now we produce shows from the MOSHAPE Minute to our executive edition of it. We do podcasts, and it's because of not only the attention we got from our state members, but from the national side of it as well. And it was just one of those moments where it's just like, this is what I wanted. I wanted us to get this attention, and it just really springboarded us into that. And we've used that momentum and carried it on and on. And, Guy, you and I have talked of, we could easily just said, okay, this was a great event, let's just go back to normal lives, but we used it and kept going. And yeah, that on March 27th, after this kind of all settled down, was the day I turned off notifications for Twitter on my phone, because I have MOSHAPE's Twitter login on my phone, and it was going crazy. And I was sitting there saying, I cannot deal with literally 80 notifications at a time. So it was awesome. But at the same time, I'm like, why is my phone going off like crazy? So that's my fun story. So yeah, this event put on, I give all the credit to our Health Moves Minds team. They really springboarded our social media team into what it is today.
Yeah, Chris, I always love when you share that, because there was so much behind the scenes that we learned. And Anna, let's now bring it to you. Obviously, I'll never forget when you reached out to me and scheduled a meeting with me, you and Kristi and Kyle. And yes, I'm not going to lie, I thought you guys were absolutely out of your mind. Looking at the timeline here, you want 2 days of planning, you want 2 days of promoting, and then 2 days for the event. I mean, let's just be honest here. If it wasn't COVID, this may have taken 2 full board meetings, 3 to 6 months apart to get approved. Okay, Let's just be real. That's kind of the culture we came from. This, to me, wow. And the fact is, you know what? We work so closely with Doc Lowry, also with our president, Dr. Joe Chef last year. I mean, and the executive board. Everyone wanted us to do something, and everyone wanted us to have a response. And that's part of what I take away from the media side of it, of what we were able to do. So with that, Anna, talk to us about, again, from your perspective, what was the significance and impact?
Yeah, thanks, Guy. And you thought we were out of our mind. And this was my first really big thing as part of the Health Moves Minds committee. So I had not really been privy yet to any of the inside things of what that looks like from a board side. But it definitely was a springboard for me to just get involved. And I knew from the get-go of 2020 that I was called to get involved in, just to allow God to lead me wherever I was supposed to go. And this is Health Moves Minds and get in health and physical education, and just really learning how to advocate is something that it sent me to. But, the significance of Chalk Your Walk and the impact was that every single thing that MOSHAPE and did from that point on was because of the success of Chalk Your Walk, and a lot of other things that you saw happening around our country, as far as professional development goes, as far as other people, giving out little challenges, or challenging other PE teachers. Everyone was just getting involved, and you saw all of us coming together once again as a community, and through our actions and through demonstrating how much we love our profession just by doing. That was one of the biggest ways that we were advocating on social media for what we love to do. And it also then promoted social emotional learning, because we were promoting kids, and we were promoting the development of them and helping them feel supported, and helping all of us feel supported and connected at the same time. So it just became something bigger than ourselves and allowed us all to feel love and connection in a place where we couldn't, but that impact is phenomenal, because we would not be where we are today if it were not for Chalk Your Walk at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Kristi, I may have said, and I did say repeatedly, I thought this group was crazy. However, Kristi, when you shared the gravity of how you were feeling at this time a year ago, I knew that we're going to have to step up big. We're going to figure this out. And I just wanted to I don't think I've ever told you that, but the gravity and just how you felt as our leader, and you wanted to do something about it. I mean, you had something, you just had a vision for this, and we just were patient with each other. And I think that's why I brought up the name at the time, SEAL Team 6, in reference, obviously, to our amazing SEAL Team 6 that we all know with our armed forces, the special forces they are. But it's a very elite group to even be part of. And the reason being is they're willing to lay their life down for each other. And in this case, I'm not talking about that we were going to do that, but I can say this from a professional standpoint, we were willing to do whatever it took. And why? Because we wanted to unite our profession. And with that, Kristi, why don't you talk to us from your perspective as our leader? What was the significance and impact for you?
So the significance and impact for me would probably be the relationships with my students, because I also challenged them to get out and chalk their walk as well. And then our relationship with just our SealTeamFAM and our board of directors. When you have somebody that shows emotion and say, hey, there's a need, and seeing the love and support that we got from our whole BOD to come in and support us, it's huge. And relationships are huge. And I believe right now, the reason why we are so successful is because, one, we all care about each other and we have each other's backs almost 95% of the time, all the time. And second is we have the support from our boards, and we also have relationships from other states. And when you start building relationships with all those people, it just keeps more and more keep adding to that group. So that's why I thought now was the perfect time to go to SealTeamFAM, because we are truly one big family.
Absolutely. Very, very, very well said. And, Kristi, one of the things that, I'd like to add to that is the support that Shape America has given us. Also, Jamie Sparks, Stephanie Morris, Michelle Carter, Carly Wright, Yasmin, Joey Martelli. The list goes on, and the support that we've been given. And just to give you a little side story, I've really not talked about this in the past before, but let me tell you what was going on with me during this time. Is we ran the event, obviously, on the 2 days back to back. And then on that following Monday, the next thing you know, I'm now on Laura Beckman's team as she's now launching Missouri Healthy Schools. It's our first meeting. And I'll never forget when they asked us to share about ourselves. And I literally, Chalk Your Walk just happened. We know the results. It was outstanding. And I'll never forget when they were asking me our expectations. And I'm thinking to myself, whatever we do, if it doesn't go national, I'm a failure. And it was really funny when I asked people, around the room what their expectations were, and it's really kind of funny. But, a few months later, when I, asked the same question when, Kristi Spears and Megan Baker, joined with Spaker Spot, again, thanks to Sean Nevels for recruiting them. But when I asked them, I mean, at the time, it was like, well, if we could just get this in our school district's, newsletter, wow, this is a big victory. And I'm just sitting there, thinking to myself, same thing with Lisa Farmer on the second home, snacks. And I'm just thinking to myself, after just experiencing Chalk Your Walk, I'm thinking, how are we going to do this? And over time, now you've seen the impact of what Missouri Healthy Schools is doing. And more importantly, how we're working so closely aligned with MOSHAPE and reaching out. And I'm going to tell you, it was the wildest transition I've ever been part of, because Kristi, you're exactly right. To me, what this is all about is I look at the relationships, I look at what we've all gone through together and what we continue to go through together. And why? Because we are united. We fight for our profession. I love all the things we're doing now, the town halls. I mean, we never did these things before. What did we focus on before at MOSHAPE? The November convention. Now we're no longer just a convention-driven society. We're every day looking at the needs of our students, looking at the needs of our profession. And I think that's a huge victory for our state here in Missouri. I think that is something that makes us different, the show me state. And yes, Chris and I know this, and Mary, given the fact we're on the marketing side, yeah, we know it's a show me state. So we know that we got to produce big, and that's just part of our mindset. But at the end of the day, we're working closely aligned with our alliances, our partners, as well as you said it, Kristi, hit the nail on the head. We're so aligned with our executive board as well as our board of directors. And I love the fact, and especially now with Patrick, now in his presidency, he's taken input from literally everyone on just trying to find what is the best idea. Same thing with Doc. And it's such a special place to be here, especially at this time. I feel so blessed that we get to do this broadcast to give some people some insight as how once we were displaced, stuck at home, and now look at what we're doing today and moving forward. So with that, I just want to thank each and every one of you for sharing all the different perspectives that you have on the impact and significance of Chalk Your Walk. And with that, Kristi, I know I'm supposed to keep quiet, but Chris and I can't do that, because we're in marketing promotions. So, it'd be an oxymoron if we did. So I'm just going to show you an image, and I want you to talk to us about what the significance is. So hang on, I'll pull this up for you. So here's an image, and talk to us about the significance of this image.
So this is Kristi Spears and Megan Baker from Spaker Spot. And we have now recruited Megan Baker to join our SEAL Team fam. So we are really excited to have her on our team.
Yay! We're so excited about that. I actually called her a couple days before we launched it, and we launched our new Twitter page and Instagram page. I wanted her to make sure how excited we were as a team to welcome her on. I know that Kristi had also done the same thing, but it's just, she fits right in with us. And we're so excited to have her part of our team. And Guy and Kristi, to support you about what you said with our team and why we work so closely together, I think that is really what defines us, is that we are always communicating effectively and efficiently with each other. We care about each other's feelings, but we care how things are going to be we care how things are going to go out, when are they going to go out, and we talk about it all the time, and everyone has a say in it. So it's not just one person. All of us working together, coordinate our efforts in order to be the best team and people and teachers that we can be for each other and for ourselves and for our kids.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Kristi.
And I can't wait for this SEAL Team fam to make a road trip to help out Kentucky's summer session.
Yay!
Absolutely. I just want to let also that I'll do a little promo to really help Megan and Kristi. We're actually going to be celebrating on Good Friday at noon a very special edition episode of Spaker Spot, the 1-year anniversary. And I got to tell you, when you get Kristi and Megan together, it's crazy the things that they come up with. Chris is smiling because he knows that pair as well as I do. And here's my fun fact for you. And this is a shout out to all these future professionals. Megan Baker, when she was a senior, she was MOSHAPE's future professionals president. And she was also the Major of the Year. And Kristi Spears was also Shape America's Major of the Year. So what a duo of success that they had as students, as future professionals. Now to be back, and serving the way they have in MOSHAPE is just, and as well as working with Missouri Healthy Schools, is just nothing short of outstanding. And Kristi, when I got the news of hearing about Megan Baker joining SealTeamFAM, I don't know how you expect Chris and I to sit on this, because we can't do that. So the cat's out of the bag, I guess. And
Is out.
Yeah. So with that, I just want to thank each and every one of you. This has been such an extraordinary journey the past year. And I can say that. And Kyle, I'm telling you, I'm going to get one of those lights sometime, man, because it just was priceless. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, because it's priceless. And Kristi, the sign, I mean, come on. The sign is legendary. That needs to be trademarked. So what can I say? And Anna, I don't know if she's ever come on a broadcast without having her hair done like she just came on the just an observation. You know, Chris and I, what can I say? We just got this all going on.
I had to be prepared.
Exactly. All right. So with that, we want to thank each and everyone for tuning in to this very special edition here on the MOSHAPE special edition. This is the 1-year anniversary of Chalk Your Walk. We want to thank you for tuning into this very special broadcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.